Well, it's safe to say today's video is cancelled because we got some Pocket Anime news. Now, everyone's been spamming my DMs the past 10 minutes, and I haven't really realized why up until now. Now, I don't see how I completely missed this news because this happened 2 hours ago. I genuinely don't know how I completely missed this. However, we got some important information regarding the next phase testing of Pocket Anime, and if phase 2 testing is soon, that means phase 3 might also be this year because we're only 5 months into the year. If phase 3 testing is this year, we might actually be seeing a 2025 release or maybe an early 2026 release. I don't know, Revolveragz is gonna be out by then, but Pocket Anime releasing is always going to be a big deal. So let's actually find out what's going on with Pocket Anime phase 2 testing. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, let's go. Pocket Anime's back, baby. All right, so we're inside of the Discord server, and here, I hate these black names because I can't see, bro. Anyways, see, I was reading this and I was tripping up because the English, the grammar wasn't there. Okay, let's redo this. Hello, trainers. It's been nearly a month. I'm just gonna add A because it makes sense. A month since the last announcement. Has it been a month? April 23rd. Oh my gosh, it's almost been a month. Time flies. And we've made exceptional progress. Ooh. We've been finalizing the current area, and we're excited to announce that the next testing phase is coming soon. Since the last announcement, related to the game, we've added immersive fishing system. How do I feel about a fishing system? Obviously, fishing in a Pokemon game entails actually catching Pokemon. You know, Magikarp, Milotech, etc, right? Well, it's not Milotech. You can't catch a Milotech through fishing. You would catch a Feebas and then evolve the Feebas to Milotech. Anyways, immersive fishing system. So I'm assuming in Pocket Anime there's going to be some sort of water anime characters that you can catch. Either that or we're going to be cooking food that we're able to heal our Animons with. So you catch fish and you can cook it, and then you can use the cooked food in battle, or they're gonna act, it's gonna act like some sort of buff or heal, etc. Hopefully it's both rather than a latter of the two. Or I would actually prefer being able to catch Animon, but hopefully it's both. I guess we'll see. Obviously we'll see. A variety of water Animons that you can capture. Oh my gosh, I just literally proved what I just said. See, this is why it's good to read before you speak, but I do like going through this one by one. I'm not gonna lie, you guys have probably listened to me yap and be like, yo, Axe, shut up and continue reading. You literally just said what? Okay, sorry. Anyways, so I literally just said it, but it's confirmed. We're gonna be able to capture water Animons. I can't even think of any water anime characters. The Little Mermaid? That's not anime. Anyways, there's gonna be more Animons. Okay, so there's gonna be a variety of more Animons. Added event system and events for every major area. Event system, so that's probably like when you go in the grass and there's like maybe a bunch of different Animons, so it's like a little raid. How they did it in certain Pokemon. I think Black and White did that, added a system like that as well, where you got, instead of it just being a 1v1, you can run into a raid of 5 different Animons. That's pretty cool. I guess we'll have to wait and see how that works. We've nearly doubled the amount of Animons we've had in the game since the previous phase test since the last phase test announcement. I would hope so, because the last phase test was over a year ago. So that's actually pretty good. There was a decent amount last time, so if it's doubled, there was like anywhere between 10 to 20, so we should have 20 to 40 this time around. Now that might not be a lot, but it's still a decent amount, because this is still testing. We worked all the stats of our Animons to make the game feel fresh. That's actually really good. I did like the stat system before, but I did notice certain flaws. They were taking the stat system from Temtem. If you guys ever played Temtem, And they added their own little remix to it. I did like it, but I am curious to just inspect how the EVs and IVs work, etc. And you know, just more of the game that's not battling and capturing. Obviously the stat system in a game like this is super important, especially if you're a person like me that takes that stuff seriously. Added more traits and abilities, that's actually good. Of course, more traits and abilities is always going to be good. Added more evolutionary lines. Oh yes, evolutions confirmed. Now obviously we knew evolutions was going to be in the game from the original trailer, but we haven't seen evolutions in progress. We didn't see it in the first phase test, so I'm assuming in phase test 2 we're actually going to get to see some evolutions, because they added evolutionary lines, which is amazing, and polished the requirements for each one. That's so beautiful. Now in the last sneak that you see playing on the screen, obviously we see Goku in his Super Saiyan form, or he transforms into his Super Saiyan form once he's thrown out. That might be a thing where base Goku has evolved into Super Saiyan 1. So we have, I guess we've kind of seen it. They kind of showed us what that looks like. So that's actually very interesting. Added functionality for different capsules. Oh, we have different Pokeballs. That's great. So obviously in Pokemon you have your normal ball. You have the quick ball. So quick ball, how the quick ball would function in Pokemon is you encounter a Pokemon and it's super efficient on the first turn. So you use your quick ball before you even attack, and it increases the capture rate. And then obviously you have the dusk ball when it's nighttime. You have the water ball, aquatic ball, I forgot what it's called. It helps you capture sea monsters easier, increases the rate of that, etc. So we're gonna have the capsule equivalent to all of those things, which is super good, which means they've actually fleshed out the game, and the next time we play we might be running into more areas. Again, I'm very sure they've probably added some sort of water or aquatic capsule, because as you can see here, they added a fishing system where we're able to capture water animons. 100% that's going to be a capsule. We'll probably see some sort of cave or dusk capsule as well, mainly because those things are the easiest to do. And then hopefully we see like a quick ball capsule version of that as well. So I guess we'll wait and see. Added crates that can be found from animons and fishing. Crates that can be found from animons and fishing. So what does that mean? Does that mean when we capture or defeat an animon, it has a chance of dropping a crate that gives us an item? Or very curious to see what they mean by this. That's pretty interesting. Added sub areas. For example, the last area that I tested had one major area. This area will have 5 additional sub areas. That's super interesting. If you guys remember the map from the first phase test, there was a rock place. I can't remember what it's called. Obviously I wouldn't know what it's called, but there was a rock that trailed upwards, and obviously since it was a phase test we weren't able to go up there. In Pokemon, the equivalent to that would probably be like rock climb. Once you gain the rock climb ability, you'd be able to climb up there. Remember, yeah, and things of that nature. So that's probably going to be one of the sub areas, or we're going to be able to do tasks in order to get to the sub area. Hopefully they do this sub area stuff properly, where you need a required move like a TM. You need like a TM, an ability, technical ability, or technical mechanic, whatever it's called. Anyways, usually you need some sort of ability in order to get into a sub area. So hopefully, I mean, these guys are Pokemon players. I already know that. So I don't expect them to get stuff like this wrong. You know what I mean? So yeah, most definitely gonna be super interesting. 5 additional sub areas. That's lit. And so much more. I wonder what so much more means. We've been working every day. Thank you to our current QA testers who helped us find most of the random bugs. So they've been doing secret tests, which I'm not mad at. It makes sense. Again, Pocket Anime, shout out to the developers. Whilst everybody was doubting, whilst everyone was saying Pocket scam, you had people like me, and I knew these guys were working at the game. And it's not like other Roblox developers where if they're not showing consistent sneaks, they're just not working on a game. I can name so many games where the developers actually disappear and they're not working on the game, or there's very little progress being done. Pocket Anime developers have been working behind the scenes, so shout out to them boys. Also to mention, this will be the last reset. Okay, so we're gonna get reset. I'm not mad at that. I'm genuinely not mad at that, because the last playtest, some people were given shinies. I was one of the people who was given shinies. So it's nice that we get reset. We get to play from the beginning and experience the game fully again. Genuinely can't wait for that. And obviously they had to reset because they revamped the game systems and mechanics. So obviously, if you kept your data, it would probably mess up the game. So this will be the last reset. From this point forward, we'll be keeping everyone's data saved. So any shinies you catch will be with you on release. I do low-key kind of want them to do a global reset for the game's official release, and if anybody captures a shiny, they keep the shiny. I genuinely would prefer, because I hate it when testers hop in a game during release and the testers are like already 5 million miles ahead of normal players. That's my opinion. I know some testers probably won't agree with that, but I do think it's kind of unfair, in my opinion. That's just my opinion though. Obviously, you know what I mean. But I do think everyone should get reset for official release and keep shinies, because shinies aren't easy to come by. If someone's going out their way to capture a shiny during early access or testing, they should be able to keep that, in my opinion. Maybe you could reset the levels, but I think they should keep the shinies. What's the plan moving forward? After this test is finished, we'll be putting all our efforts into the last area before release. Wait, no phase 3 testing? Phase 2 then release? And polishing the game. We'll keep everyone updated. The next announcement will be the time frame for the second phase. Oh my days. Phase 2 testing and then release. There's no phase 3. We might get Pocket Anime 2025. We might get Pocket Anime 2025. No, this is low-key a big deal. We might actually get Pocket Anime 2025. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? Oh no, that's big. That's big. That's big. That's big. That is big. Oh my gosh. Okay. Lost area before release. Now this is the only thing that scares me. Is lost area before release mean we have all 8 gyms complete before the game is ready to release? Or is lost area before release mean we only have the first 3 gyms and then we get a gym every single update? Super curious to know what lost area before release means. I am super curious to know how much of the game is actually going to be done for release, and how much of the game is done and how much of the game they're going to be letting us test. Because I guarantee you they're not going to let us test like the latest version of the game for phase 2 testing. It'll probably be like the most previous version before the current version. So I definitely would love to find out, like, you know, the bits and pieces, the real information about the Pocket Anime. This is definitely one of the top 5 games for me coming out this year, or that are meant to come out this year. So I take Pocket Anime news seriously. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I don't want to yap you guys' heads off. Pocket Anime is real. Like I said, baby.